Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimorelli.
Welcome back to...
The Cimorelli podcast. Did we not do that one on the last one?
No, we did.
did.
We did.
We were supposed
did.
to cheer. Woo!
Wow, Lauren,
I
so
was ready to
enthusiastic.
cheer. Guys, I burped like 4 times in that whole thing. You didn't even know?
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's a lot.
It's a horrible...
What, you gonna blame it on the baby? No, just kidding.
Yes.
Yes.
It is horrible.
like the baby burped. It wasn't me.
Nick, all the time, he's like, okay. Because it's like, I can't stop, guys. I really
Oh,
can't.
I
It's
burped
not
the
my
other day.
fault.
And Max said, "Okay, Lisa."
Then you have me going, "Bah," and then saying a sentence, and Chad doesn't even react.
Because he's so used to
Because
it.
he's used to it.
Nick
Sometimes I react, and he's
No,
like,
I
"What?"
burp all the time. Max doesn't care. But I
I'm
did
gonna
a
have to
really
do-
loud one.
I'm gonna have to do what you did and start counting because it's kind of it's just shocking. It just like you can't really
aggressive.
suppress it because it's like flying out. and
That's
it's like
how I
Yeah.
feel every day.
No one talks about pregnancy, so like that. I didn't know that you burp a lot. So
It's
the
bad.
more you know.
more you
Not
know.
It's the
everyone
baby.
does, but
And it's
not
like,
her.
will I burp more
You
or will it
think
be the same?
You
I don't
marry
know.
this demure woman, and then all of a sudden,
Probably
she's
more.
burping all the time.
I don't think
Yeah.
Chad will think that about me, but
I think Nick was a little shocked. He's like, you didn't really burp before, and now it's like every 2 seconds. I'm not exaggerating.
No, I'm glad I established that with Max that I burp. I'm glad.
I'm proud of you, Kat. It's freeing.
I couldn't hold it in. It would
screaming.
hurt too bad.
It's
Couldn't hold it in.
freeing.
This is not normal. It's another level. It's not a normal burp. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on from that. I don't think I'm just gonna say I'm gonna film it. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna film this. Like film myself at night because at nights when it's the worst. I don't think I'm gonna do that. But anyway,
I have all the time for my own archives. All right.
okay.
It's good to know my own
Anyway,
archive. Because then you watch it back and you're like, this is what it's like for other people watching me. It's so weird. Anyway.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm like,
Welcome back, you guys. If this is your first time, hello.
you're getting us at a great time.
The Cimorelli podcast is a fun, uplifting podcast where we also we also focus a lot on
Burping.
self-improvement and personal growth. And we share
Personal gas.
juicy stories, discuss personal topics, and get vulnerable and real with you guys.
Clearly.
Every other episode is available only on our Patreon. And then every episode that you guys are seeing on YouTube is available a week early on Patreon. So they get the early episodes and they get the exclusive episodes. And Patreon funds the podcast. This is the reason we're able to do the podcast. So thank you to our patrons. You are the reason the podcast is able to keep going. So thank you guys so much. Today's topic of conversation is flirting 101.
Oh gosh.
It's going to be really
It's gonna
interesting.
be a doozy.
I love talking about flirting.
I am
Whoa.
not qualified for
Because
this topic.
I feel like I went
come
from
on.
one side of it to the other, so I'm very passionate.
I'm not qualified.
Lisa flew out of the woodwork in that one.
Okay, so the first thing is highs and lows.
Woo!
Because we're getting into that topic of conversation in the middle of the episode. We start with highs and lows, which is the good,
Highlights and lowlights of
and-
your week.
bad things of our weeks. So,
I can go first.
okay.
Would you believe it? I have a combo. Okay.
Oh
So, first with the low. The low was I really wanted this Mediterranean cafe for dinner, okay? Really wanted it.
You wanted a
And
cafe.
I wanted to order from this Mediterranean cafe, and it was like 8 o'clock or 7:45, whatever, and I was like, oh my gosh, I bet they're still open. We call them, they're closed. I was like, no. And then 2 days later,
Wow.
again, I'm like, oh, let's get dinner. Let's get Greek food. Call the cafe. Closed. So 2 days in a row, basically. I really wanted this food and I didn't get it. And it was actually like very devastating. And then 3 days later now, it's like 6:30 and I think of it on time. And I'm like, oh, I want Greek food. Let's order it. And we actually got it. It was so good. Like it wasn't just the normal goodness. It was extra fresh, extra hot. Like,
They deliver.
Wait.
yes, they do.
So you learned their hours.
Is what you're saying. No. I knew their hours, but I kept thinking of it too late. So I was like, all right, I got a plan. But the point is, it was devastating to not have it, and it was so awesome to finally have it.
I feel that. I feel that.
Whew.
Oh, this is It's really weird, so you can't judge me, but you will. I don't care. My high was making this necklace because it was really fun. My
does it
low,
say?
it says rad, and it's a hemp necklace that I made myself because I am a jeweler.
Okay.
Ah. So, like, I make a lot of jewelry, as you can see. Anyway, so my low.
I am a
so
jeweler.
weird. But I felt like I was going through a breakup, but I'm not.
Oh, I've had that
Wait,
happen.
what?
Do you ever? I think it was because
Wait, what?
my
I just
favorite
got so thrown off.
character on this show broke
Oh my
up.
gosh.
And that was the last episode that I'd watched. But I don't know why. I'd stopped, like, I just turned off because, like, I gotta go to bed. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I was going through a breakup and I couldn't figure out why. So I don't know if that made me feel like it, but
It triggers a childhood wound, and you're experiencing
It was
feelings
so
of a
weird.
loss from a long time ago. I'm not
Maybe.
kidding. I had that. I've
was
like
so
journaled
weird.
about that as a teenager. Like, oh, I feel like I'm going through a breakup, but I didn't even break up with anyone.
Yes.
You're feeling pain from your past.
It was wild. I was shocked.
Insight.
Mm,
Wait, oh, yeah, I was like, you said you're high, right? Okay, good.
okay.
She's a jeweler.
My
Yes.
high was talking to someone. That was very fun.
Whoa.
Just gonna keep it
What?
real big.
The
And my
heck?
low was the 20-minute panic attack I had before I talked
a
to
combo.
that
That
person
makes sense.
to calm myself down to get myself to be able to actually do it.
Oh,
It happens.
it was a quick low high.
What?
It was a package deal.
It's
Okay,
on special.
so my high was working on a very special surprise wedding present for Maxwell. So TBD, TBR, to be revealed.
It is not TBD.
to be
you
decided. Oh, dang it, I already said it. To be revealed.
To be announced, TBA.
My low, and I'm kind of extending this beyond like the last 7 days, maybe to the last like 8 to 9 days. So, you know, like week and a half is, I would call this past week the week of conflict. When I had many confrontations with people, and
Oh, girl.
I mean, I am a fighter, but I don't necessarily enjoy that. Having to call people, tell them the truth, having to text people, tell them the truth. It's just a lot for me.
It is a lot.
So got a little worn out. I'm just like, I just want peace. So, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do.
You do, Kath.
You do.
okay.
Just had to burp again.
Did
Okay.
you not- oh, you didn't do yours.
Yeah, I was just trying to get away from the mic. Okay, well, since I am pregnant, then I'll just do some pregnancy-related ones since I can't do that all the time. So my low, which one? My low was that
Burping?
my stomach was so stretched. I was starting to see like stretch marks that like come and go. They like show and they don't show. So it was like to that point where it's like really hurting. The stretch marks wasn't the point. The pain was the skin stretching. That was my low, is that it was just so painful to feel my skin stretch that much. I didn't appreciate it. And then my high was that I was really excited to finish a book, which was a pregnancy birth book. It was a birth book, pregnancy related book. It's about giving birth. And I was so excited that I finished it because I'm trying to finish a bunch of stuff before I give birth. And I got to cross that one off. So
Why couldn't you finish the birth book after you give birth? That seems to make sense to
yeah,
me.
maybe I should change to that. Great idea.
Doesn't seem very pressing.
All right. Well, that's our highs and lows. We had some pretty not as deep ones this week.
Yeah.
Some weeks, guys, you can tell some of our episodes we get dark. And then some of them, not as dark. See, that's life. Okay, so now we're going to do our spicy advice Q&A.
All right. Our
Yeet.
spicy advice question comes from our patron, Elle Costa. Hey, Elle.
Hey.
What's up? I always think of Elle Woods from Legally Blonde.
Could be Ellie.
Oh, could be Ellie.
Oh, yeah, we do know someone
Or
who's spells
Ellie,
name like
maybe.
that. Named
All right.
Ellie.
So her question is advice on dealing with a recent loss? Question mark.
Huh. We can definitely advise you on this.
Oof.
Everyone's like,
Can we?
It's really hard.
deep.
yes, we
hard.
are. We all have been through a recent loss.
is painful.
I can jump in and say
say.
this wasn't my experience, but one of my close friends lost her mom to cancer last year. And I've just been really watching her go through the whole grieving process. So it's very fresh in my mind. And I think one of the things I've seen that she said is helpful for her is just talking about her mom. And I know you can lose so many different things, and not necessarily just a person. Could be many different things. But if it was a person, I've heard that it's very helpful to talk about the person and celebrate their memory instead of just pretending like they don't exist, which, you know, technically they don't. But like, you know what I mean? Like their memory lives on. So
Yeah.
I've heard that's really helpful to like share stories of them and talk about them and what you miss about them. So,
Well, I know for me, stuff that has been really helpful is like embracing and allowing myself to express my feelings and encouraging myself, like let it out, cry in the shower, listen to songs that help you get in touch with those feelings. Go on a walk and listen to songs that really get you in touch. I've done that a lot. Different playlists that get me in touch with these really deep, sad feelings of grief. And grief and loss is just a wild, wild thing because grief is so weird. That whole thing about like different stages and that it comes in waves, it's just so true and it's so strange to go through. And it's weird because you can have like really happy moments and then this really hard, horrible moments where you just don't know how you're going to feel better. And then you can have something great happen and you're smiling and laughing like a couple hours later. Mm-hmm. So it's really weird. It's not like you just get over it. It's like this process where you feel a lot of different things and they just keep coming and they keep changing. Like I've noticed so many weird, different changing feelings in my grieving process for different things I've grieved over the last several months. And it's weird. It's really an evolving thing. So I think allowing yourself to express and like journaling is really helpful. Of course, do that a lot. Just getting it all out there. Music, walks, crying in the shower, and then being okay with being happy about things, even though you're really sad, and being okay,
not feeling guilty,
being okay with being sad about things, and not putting yourself on like a timeline. Like I should be over this by now. I shouldn't be feeling this. Just accept yourself and let it be okay to feel everything you're feeling because you're not choosing to feel any of it. So it's not your fault that you're feeling it. So just embrace it. That's my best advice on that.
I can speak to this. This is a pretty broad question. But as far as like something like a breakup, like not if someone necessarily died, but like you lost a friendship or you lost a relationship, looking at what it was about that person or that relationship that really filled you up and finding that in other things and in other people, because when you lose someone, I think the hardest part is just that empty space that suddenly you feel of like, oh, I would be talking to them right now. Oh, I would be hanging out with them right now. Like, oh, I would be getting like this kind of connection from them, or we would be talking about this, or, oh, I could tell them this and they'd be so supportive, or whatever it is. So just looking at like what it really was about that person and relationship that you miss and finding that in like your other friends or in your family or even in yourself, and just finding ways to fill up the space that are like positive, productive things that'll actually make you feel better.
Yeah.
And also like accepting that loss in every way is a not normal. It's like it's essential part of life. Like there's a timeline. There's a
that's the thing I've been thinking about so much. I'm like, oh man, this is just a part of life.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It really
and
is.
And it just comes
like,
and comes.
Unavoidable. You can't escape it.
You lose like on the smallest scales, like you lose like series. I hate reading ending series or watching series finales, but like
oh my
you
god,
lose things like that. You lose friends, you lose boyfriends and girlfriends, you lose pets, you lose honestly things. I've had
family
things that
members.
Get lost.
I lost my favorite shoes.
Yes,
it was so sad.
You lose things on
I still don't know where they are.
Different levels.
Scales and levels, and you have to just realize it's part of life. And one of the I literally would just say exactly what they said. But another thing is this book called Mars and Venus Starting Over is one of the best books ever on grief and stuff. Christina showed it to me and I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Really so good. I would recommend that book if you're dealing with a very particular deep loss that you don't know how to grieve.
Yeah, that reminds me that I kept saying like grieving various things over the last several months. Like, this is not supposed to happen. It's like whether or not something is supposed to happen is not really something you can figure out. It's supposed to happen. But I just realized, like, what you're saying, I'm like, this is not supposed to happen. And I'm like, this is what happens in life. Like, everyone is going to go through loss. And there's only going to be more loss in my life as I get older. There's going to be more loss. So I'm just going to have to realize it does happen. And I'm going to have to go through this and accept it. Doesn't mean it makes me feel much better, but it helps to stop from making it like so much worse. You can make it like worse on yourself if you try to avoid it, because then you like run from it and then it will like come even stronger. I've done that before.
Oh yeah, me too.
Anyone else? Oh, that was a heavy one.
Yeah, I was like,
we're gonna go
okay.
into a light topic. So
Woohoo! Yeah, really
just gonna take
turning
a
the
deep breath.
corner.
Everyone, let's breathe in the gratitude.
Breathe in the fun
Start.
sprinkled spices. Whew. Okay, I'm ready.
okay.
I
So
don't know.
our topic of conversation today is flirting 101. As we mentioned,
He's already hiding.
yeah, Amy's already hiding. And when we were talking about this episode and planning it out, we realized at first that we really needed to define what we mean by this in this segment.
And what we are
Yeah.
talking about here.
Yeah, because it can be, it can mean something really different to lots of people. So we're going to tell you what we are talking about. So, Kath, do you want to tell them what we're talking about?
Yes. Okay. So I've always had a really negative connotation because of flirting, because I always thought flirting meant being fake and just like saying a bunch of practiced lines or like doing this
could.
very calculated fake thing to like
not.
show you're attracted or whatever. But I think what we agreed is that it's actually much more, or
what we're
can
talking
be,
about
Yeah.
here.
What we're talking about is it's much more of a genuine thing of just showing someone that you're interested in them.
Conveying
And that's pretty
interest.
simple. Yeah.
That's all we're talking about.
That's
So
all we're talking about. Yeah.
You're
It's not a
interested-
game. It's not
You're interested
fake.
in someone. How do you show it? That's it.
That is the
Yes.
question.
So we're gonna go into some. We're gonna go into some examples later. But the first question is, what is your style?
I want to go first. My style is now direct, to the point, and weirdly chill. Like very straightforward. And yet, you don't feel pressure. Like there is an entire roast beef being put down on the table, but you don't have to eat it, you know? It's just there if you want it. But I will say, I used to be, I guess, as a child, I was more on the mute side of like absolutely run away. Like I would like a boy and just sit there and watch him. Oh my gosh, I was like 14. Like I was not always very direct. And I think when I was more like 16, 17, I just started to really come out of my shell. And now I'm very straightforward. Just like, I like you. Let's hang out. What do you think?
Wow.
And then they say yes or no. And then I'm like, okay, goodbye. Or, okay, cool.
Lisa, you told me that I was the one who was businessy when flirting. That sounds pretty businessy
It's not
to me.
businessy because people read it and they go, whoa. Oh, my heart's pounding. It's not like, oh, okay.
Did someone
let's
tell you
hang out?
that their heart
Because the hanging out, yes.
My heart's pounding.
You can tell it makes people flutter. They're like, oh, I'm blushing.
Oh
Man,
my
I
god.
can't.
Okay,
Here.
what's your style, Amy?
I don't have one.
No,
I'm on a
we told you.
journey.
I told you from observing Amy from the outside. I think your
feel like we
style
could
is
tell.
like warm, friendly, charming.
Okay, well,
And Amy's voice gets really high. She's like, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Yes, but
Not
it depends.
wait,
think
it's
it's more
like
the past.
bubbly and loud, just talking a lot, but not necessarily saying.
Which is how she already is, but it's
She's
like
not
amped
like,
up.
That's what I'm
It's not
saying.
like, what a great shirt. She's not really doing
No,
that.
she's just like a friendly and approachable and outgoing.
like extra friendly.
yes, very conversational.
Yeah.
Extra friendly. That's it.
Yes.
I used to be a bit of a harasser. I don't know if you guys know this actually, but when I was young in the age of the internet, you know, I used to be like, hey, like, not like
I could never do that.
yeah, I would like message people all the time.
You mean when
So-
you sent them, oh, you want an iPad. Oh, sorry.
That's
I don't know what that
harassing.
was.
That was great.
Oh,
But now I am not a harasser. I think I kind of went the opposite way. Where I don't know. I guess it's like I think I'm pretty subtle and like pretty coy because
You're always like, I might think you're cute.
okay, not even that. That's too much.
Okay, sorry, but you're like, I might this or that. Do you know what I mean?
You're like,
I won't
haha,
say it
maybe. It's
directly.
like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, because I like a guy that can kind of like, like pick up on that and like
Work with
kind
it.
of like
the
work with
lines.
it and like give me something back instead of like, I don't want to have to be like, hello, I like you. Like, can't you like read me? Can't you like
Lauren doesn't want a
notice
guy who's like,
something?
boo, 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 boo.
Cause yeah, it's like I'm like an introvert. Like I want someone that can kind of like notice and like open me up a little bit, pursue me a little. Like that's what I like. So I think I'm pretty subtle and coy.
Okay, so Laura and I have realized this since like years ago that this is so weird, but we are so similar in a lot of ways, but when it comes to boys, we are like shockingly similar. It's kind of creepy. I don't know how this happened, but we are so similar. Like things that she'll say and do, and I'm like, I've literally said that. I've literally done that. It is so weird. So I'm really, really similar to Lauren if you just turn it up like a little bit of a notch, but not too much
because you're just more of an outgoing person than me, so I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I'm really the same. I like to hint around. We're gonna say our exact techniques. Techniques. We're gonna say what we've done in the past, and especially like what has worked. Yes. But learn from mistakes too.
Yes.
But yeah, hinting around, and I really liked guys who could read between the lines because I wanted them to read between the lines of me in general. I wanted them to like pick up on things. I really liked that a lot. So that is the same thing Lauren said. Okay, just copy and paste what she just said.
So if that's the theme, I would say delete what Christina said, and that would be my style. It's basically the opposite. When she said goes for guys who read between the lines, I think I went for guys who are extremely clueless. And definitely I had to like force feed it to them, but I didn't really I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like, hello, I like you, because I had too much pride.
I get you.
I think I was more like Amy, where I would just try to be more friendly and smile a lot, but I think it was too subtle. I don't think a lot of guys even noticed it, honestly.
Yes.
Well, because you're just always nice. So
yeah,
then it's
I think
like,
I just
she's
acted the
nice.
same way that I always did.
This is what I always say, where I'm like, if you're super outgoing and reach out to your friends a lot and you're an initiator, why would you not do that with guys? Like why? You're like, oh, I'm not comfortable doing that. Yes, you are. You know what I mean?
No, but as I feel like it's different. Like, I feel like there's something in a girl, and maybe this is just society's brainwashing, whatever. But I really, in my own personal opinion, which I'm allowed to have, I think that there's something in a woman that wants to be pursued. You don't want to feel like you're dragging this lump of coal around.
It doesn't mean
That's
pursuing.
true.
I'm just saying initiating.
No, but I'm saying I just wanted to be pursued. I didn't want to have to do all the work, light the candles, put out the flower petals, la-di-da, roll out a red carpet, write it all out for you.
I don't do that. Okay, just got to clarify.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself.
I don't know what she's saying.
Anyway, yeah, my style was don't do anything because I didn't really know what to do and just hide.
That is so relatable.
And if I saw a boy I liked, I would like run away. So I was like,
Except also kind of similar to Amy, kind of acting like hee hee.
Yeah.
I've seen you do that many a time.
Sometimes if the guy was like nice enough, I could like muster up.
It was like
courage.
kind
You
of
get a little like playful,
Babyish.
maybe.
Yeah, kind of play. I think
I do not do that.
No, you don't do
I
that.
would never.
Yeah,
could
okay,
never.
yeah,
I
right.
definitely had a babyish side for sure, and more playful, but only if I felt very comfortable.
Oh, I meant her voice goes up an octave like you.
Yeah.
Catherine.
That's what I meant.
I was gonna say.
So there you have it.
But I just realized, Laura, is this different for you or no? Oh gosh, some loud yard work
No, wait,
outside.
there's just a chainsaw outside.
I realized. Tell me if this is different for you. Even though I was always doing like hints, whatever, some of the things I would do, a lot of it is like so much like eye contact related things, smile, stuff like that. Those wouldn't be that subtle for me, but that's not me saying.
yes.
I'm not that subtle.
I would like stare someone
like
down.
you.
I am staring
I
at
couldn't.
you.
I'm like giving, you're
but I
looking
won't
and you're
necessarily
like,
say.
yeah, you
hey,
look
but
and
I'll
you
be
give,
like,
you flash the
hello?
full smile. And then you just turn
I would
away.
go blind before I would
See,
stare.
I would do the stare
love
down,
to stare.
the full smile, the whatever, and then I go over and say like, "Hey, who are you?" or whatever. Do you know
Who
what I
are
mean?
you? Yeah.
Just add
Yeah,
that.
that's the
Oh.
difference.
Tack it on.
So we're gonna talk about two extremes that we can pretty safely say this is two extremes you should probably try to avoid. Amy and Kath, you want to start?
I think everyone knows what ours is.
Yeah, but like, would you like to
Literally-
take it off?
Sure, it's literally just not showing interest at all, ever, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's a thing of like, okay,
It
because
leads to
we're
missed opportunities.
we're so friendly in a
Yeah.
way. It's hard to figure out how to convey interest rather than just friendship. I have recently learned that literally in the past 3 months. You told me that.
What?
Everything I say goes through a
Friend
filter
zone.
of friend zone names.
Yes.
We will call that the tunnel of friend zone.
Oh my gosh.
And so, because I was doing everything I could that was up to the point where it would be vulnerable of like, showing interest. So I could be friendly and stuff, but I couldn't get past that point and be vulnerable of being like interested in any way. But I didn't know that I was doing it. So over the years, I was shocked that guys wouldn't understand that I was interested, and we would just be like really good friends for a long time. And then I realized, because I'm literally just being friendly, and I'm in the tunnel of friendship.
Yeah, I would say get some feedback from your friends and see if
Yeah,
they're
nice friends.
Like, I don't think I even realized I was the way until Lisa kept pointing it out. And Lisa's like, "You're so businessy. You just hand the guy a resume and shake his hand."
No, I say it's like you're asking them if you can fax them. Like that's how it comes across when I saw it unfolding. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought I was being
And it's
friendly
okay.
and smiling. Which
But it also probably happens a lot with people who are really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
honestly, I think I was just painfully afraid of rejection.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
Same.
gonna say. Is probably is
I didn't want to put myself out there. I didn't want to get rejected.
because if you're not already super friendly, then it will look even like more toned down.
yeah.
Right? If you're
Yeah.
really
It just
quiet and
result
shy,
in like not approaching someone at all.
then
and
you just
not
don't
talking to them.
you
just
don't want to
watching from
show
afar.
any kind of interest because you don't want to be like embarrassed or like ashamed
Yeah.
that you dared to show.
And usually it's because you had a bad experience. Like when I was in middle school, I felt like I got rejected a lot by the boys I liked.
Well,
I feel
some
like they
people-
always
I
chose
didn't-
someone else. So I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing.
When I was like 14 stuff, I was really insecure and I didn't get rejected by like anyone. I was just insecure and I was like, no one will like me. I can't put myself out there and I was like, yeah, I'm just too scared to say something.
I feel like we should put out there a way to get around this one more on this topic. And I would say one is you can decide this for yourself that you're allowed to like someone. And like if you have the audacity to smile at them and they don't like you back, whatever, and they're like, you have a crush on me. It's like, yeah, I thought you were attractive. Sue me and just go on with your day. It's
yes,
okay.
Yes.
It only means that you two are not a match. If someone rejects you, it doesn't mean you are a
Yeah.
problem.
Not a catch.
It just means the match isn't right. And that gets me through so many rejections, breakups, whatever. Well, got me through. Just remember, it just means that the two of you don't work.
Yeah. And it's like when you put yourself out there, you get yourself closer to the right guy.
Think about how that's flattering though. Like there's been plenty of guys who I did not like. And when they told me that they had a crush on me, then I was like, that's really nice, assuming they weren't being a psycho about it. That's really flattering. Thank you. And they're being nice. It's like, I don't like you back, but that's okay. If someone's gonna be like really rude about it, then you don't want to have a crush on them because they're rude. That is so rude. Like if someone told you they liked you and you're just like, not really into it, you're probably not gonna be like, ew, you're disgusting. Because it's like, why are they gross for liking you?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, and I would say that you have to kind of shift your perspective on dating if you want to get a different result. Like, you have to realize that it's really brave to put yourself out there, and it's not about whether or not they like you. It's the fact that in order to find the right person, you have to be brave. And if you're living your life afraid of getting rejected, then you're never, well, that didn't happen for me. I did find my person. But but you know what? I still somehow got over that because I dated a lot of
put yourself
people.
out there?
You did.
I was just afraid, but I was brave and I got knocked down, but I got up again.
Yes, Kathy.
That's what matters.
I feel like that really brings me into the next one, the opposite, which is attacking people. Now, I don't mean physically. Okay, we already know that one. But listen, I have not personally done this, but I have a lot of friends who I've experienced doing this. And my brother, Michael, describes this as he's had girls. For some reason, Michael, I don't know why, my older brother, he's a really big, like, aggressive personality. And somehow
He's not actually very aggressive though. He's more just really sunshiny. You know what I mean? He's pretty friendly.
He really
very
pays
approachable,
attention
I feel like.
to girls and will be like, give
He's
them so much
intense.
attention. But you're right. He's not like, do you want to, you're right. He's not like,
and
"Do you
he's
wanna date?"
actually a little distant, so I can see
Okay,
why.
okay.
You're missing the bigger point. He likes girls that are unattainable or whatever. He likes girls that are hard to get.
Okay, but I'm
That's
going to
what-
say somehow he has a lot of girls have been attracted to him who are wildly
Oh, that's true.
aggressive to the point where it's like you need to chill because he would read us messages from them and whatnot, and it's like he doesn't like you. You gotta stop. So he explains it as, or he describes it as, "Hey, do you like me? Do you like me now? Do you like me now? Do you like me yet? How about now? Do you like me now? Do you like me now?"
sad.
And it's like he is showing you like, no, I'm not. He's pretty nice, I think, for the most part about turning girls down. And he's like, no, I don't like you. And they're just like won't stop, and they're like attacking. So I've seen a lot of my friends do this where they're like coming on so strong, and it's like they're not even reading or like noticing what the guy is doing or saying
Yeah,
back
you
to
gotta
them.
tune in.
Yeah, they're not tuned in. They're just like, their eye is on the prize, and they're like, I need to get you. And they're completely avoiding what the person is saying to them and ignoring them. So that is a big problem.
Well, that's not gonna work in a relationship.
Yeah.
Also, if you can't, if you don't notice the other person, all you think about is what you want and like what you want from them. It's like you can't just ignore them. Like, they're part
it's
of
like
this.
it's a lack of awareness problem, and it's also a problem of boundaries. Of like, you have to realize you can go up to this point on your side of the boundary and be like, all right, I'm gonna put myself out there as much as I want, but there's another side of this line that this person has every right to like come to you or go away. You have to accept that. If you put yourself out there hardcore and someone says no, it was your choice to put yourself out there. You just got to be okay with it, walk away. It's really not the end of the world, but you can't force something to happen where someone else has control over their end. Like, you can't control what they want to
no
do.
means no.
If
You
you're
gotta
going
accept
after
that.
someone that aggressively, and I feel like that kind of goes for guys and girls, same equally. Like I don't know, it just kind of shows this sense of like, you don't think you're worth it. You don't think you're worth someone returning the affection or like coming after you too. Like, it should kind of be a give and take there. So if you're doing all the work, do you really think that's what you deserve? Like, you deserve someone that's going to kind of be showing it. Like, there should be not equal, but like there should be a similar amount of interest shown on both sides.
But that's the trick, actually, guys. Here's the real trick.
Ooh.
Oftentimes, when you're doing this, it's because you actually don't want to get close to someone subconsciously. Consciously,
Ooh,
you're like, I'm
brain freeze.
dying to get close to them. But yet, you keep pursuing people who are so out of reach that you know there's no
It'll never
chance.
happen.
There's
Well,
no
wait,
chance you're going to get close.
Explain to the layman at home, what do you mean by out of reach? What does that mean?
They don't respond well to your advances. They don't respond at all.
You're not having
They're not interested.
You're not having deep conversations, close conversation.
Regular,
You're not.
but
you're not
but
having
on a deeper
close
level, I would
encounters.
say what you're saying is someone who's kind of emotionally unavailable.
But a lot of people don't grasp
which
that.
I would explain that and say, you have to ask yourself, the person you're going after, are they actually interested in commitment of
At
any
all,
kind?
yeah.
Do they show commitment in their life to
Is this
different
a
things?
realistic
or they
match?
just barely hang out with you at the last minute when they feel like it? Like, it's
So
just,
this is it's a trick to realize you're playing it on yourself and you actually don't want to be close with people. Listen, we've all been through it, okay?
we
In
have.
different
Girl,
ways.
I've been through it.
We all actually have. So think about that one for a sec. So what should people actually do?
Well, there's a concept called be yourself. And I learned a lot about myself. Big surprise when I cut my hair off. I've never talked about this before, so it's brand new. Just kidding. Well, actually, if you haven't watched our podcast, maybe you don't know. But
It is.
my hair used to be really, really long. And not only that, but I saw myself as like a Barbie and definitely an object. Like, I am not worth anything beneath my appearance, even though I had quite a mind down there. So,
as we've seen from your journal entries.
thank you. So,
Quite a mind.
in my flirting style with my long-haired Barbie image was more like, be perfect. Like, say these calculated lines that you thought of from a movie or whatever, and like always be charming, always be like hot, like in the image way, not just how you look, but like how you act. Like, you can't trip and fall. You can't like make a joke, whatever. Just be this stereotypical hot girl in the personality too. And I attracted people that didn't really vibe with me and didn't really know me and were not a match at all because I wasn't being myself. Then I cut off all my hair and I was like, wow, I have different interests now. My sense of humor is somehow coming to the surface because not only did I lose my hair, I also lost this feeling of I am an object. I must do what objects do. Now I was like, oh, who is Lisa? What does Lisa want to do? What does Lisa think? And I realized who I really was this like out of the box, kind of off the wall weirdo. And I let that out more. And I mean, the guys that I was attracting were definitely different, but they were still kind of scummy, you know. But they like, it was the first step of feeling appreciated for who I was, of like, wow, people enjoy my personality. And the way that I approached things, the way I interacted with people, it really changed. And it made me feel differently about myself to see the way that people responded to me. I was like, wow, I have so much more to offer. But that's a whole deeper topic. But the main thing is, you may not realize that you're not being yourself, but if you can like liberate yourself to like be free and do the things that you want to do, even if they're not necessarily normal or stereotypically attractive, it's so much more relaxing, because then when you find someone who loves those weird things and loves those like out of the box things, you're like, okay, this person likes me, not some hot girl from Instagram, because I'm not that anymore.
Yeah, because like every person has their own what is that thing that you taught us about or told us about from something unique pairing, Everyone is their own like brand.
I don't remember where I saw that or heard that.
Yeah, it's like people are really special because they're unique pairings of things because we're all so individual. So you have to find your own unique pairing in you and figure out what works for you.
And how you act is if you act differently, you're going to attract different people. And I saw this with friends. I mentioned this in like one of our early episodes, but with making friends, which same idea of attracting certain type of people to. This is where I really learned this. There was like a period of time a couple years ago where I was really like what's the word I'm looking for? My personality. I was gonna say dumbing it down. Toning. There we go. Toning my personality down a lot because I knew a lot of people are intimidated by me. So I was like, oh, if I just like tone it down and then I'm not quite as loud, I don't say as weird stuff, blah blah. Maybe people will like me more. But what really happened was I made some friends and then I looked back and I was like, ugh, all these friends like a version of me that's not me. And I want to be the real me. So then I made a conscious decision to be the real me and really put myself out there and be like the weird parts of myself and the intimidating parts of myself, whatever. And then now at this point, I have made like a great group of friends who I feel comfortable being myself around. So I think if you do feel kind of stuck in your current love life, you may consider like, have I been not being myself fully? And then think about what you could do to put more of yourself out there. So now we're going to say some specific examples of things that have worked for us. And this is, like we said, it's early on. You're trying to convey interest. Thank you so much for finishing my sentence a bunch of times because I can't think of the word.
All right.
You want to be a smooth operator.
Yes. I have two go-to general things. There's the beginning. Okay, let's say this is a cyber thing, maybe, or even in person. Someone is posting something on their story or just doing something that I find attractive. Could be anything. I just say, that's attractive. And then they're like,
my God!
Oh, yeah. Wow. Or, I've also in the occasional, that's hot, but whatever. Oh, yeah.
I just burst into flames hearing that.
For instance, I love when a man can scream like a metal scream. And I found out my fiance could do that. So I sent him a video of myself going, listening to his song. And he was like, oh, okay. She likes my song, just make it clear. But anyway.
That's the beginning?
Yeah.
When you didn't know you were interested?
No. I knew that I was interested at this point, but it was like within the first.
You didn't know, I mean?
No. Okay, I guess this was still early flirting.
To show you're interested.
Yes.
Listen, this is first month.
She does know.
That's her showing she's interested.
No. I mean, did he know she's interested? It sounds like she's saying a little later.
No, I'm saying I was showing him
she's
that I was
letting him
interested.
know. I like that you scream.
Listen, not the point. Second one, now let's say that we've established that we like each other, right? But you're trying to like get the ball over the hill. I always say we should hang out. Or let's hang out.
Oh, okay.
And that could be pretty early on, okay?
Yeah.
That could be one of the first few conversations.
That's a couple weeks in.
Yeah, I'm like,
for me it was.
Yeah. Let's hang out. When are we hanging out?
I'd like to say the subtle version of that I said a few times. I think it actually worked a few times. If you say you saw them somewhere and then you were like, hey, it was really good to see you today. Hope to see you again soon. It's like a subtle. It's a hint.
like
That's very subtle.
Yeah, I probably used that many times, and I think I got a couple.
But
of
it's
bites.
not too subtle.
No, it's putting yourself out
something.
there. You're saying you want to see them again.
but it's subtle.
That's about as
but
far
not
as I
too
went
much.
in my dating life. I was like, oh my God.
That's pretty good.
Okay, who wants to go next?
Okay. This is gonna sound so weird, but this I snagged him in. So we went to the same church, and he was falling asleep during church. So I texted him afterwards. It was like, LOL, I saw you sleeping during church. And he's like, what? Because I was watching, and he's like, OMG, were you stalking me? And like, maybe. It's like, oh, okay. So she was watching, and she is like looking at me, so she's interested. But again, it has to be someone that can kind of like read between the lines a little bit there, because like someone might be like, why are you stalking me? But he got the vibe, so that worked. And then another thing, if they're really not getting the vibe when you do something like that, like, okay, that's something that I do is just like kind of letting someone know I was like watching or like noticing something you did or said. And again, it sounds kind of stalkerish, but like
It's not
I
a
noticed.
creepy thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was
It's not
outside
like
your
I was
window.
at your house.
Yeah,
It's
not in
like,
a weird way.
or like, oh,
In a
I saw
public
when
setting.
you tripped, like something like that. Like, oh, I was watching.
not creepy.
Another classic thing that I did is in a group of people, you walk away and you only say bye to that one person really loud.
I'm so
like, bye. And then it's like, oh, okay. Like, she just only said bye to me. Like, and you'll be like, okay, bye, everyone. But then you walk away and you're like, bye, whatever his name is. I did that before. And
that's
it worked.
perfect.
It worked.
Interesting.
That's probably because you're leaving.
Yes. So
You
you're
don't
like,
have to
bye.
see the aftermath.
Wait, that's such a classic.
I could use
and
that
you
one.
say it with like a smile with their name. You're like, bye, Nick. And then you walk away.
Yes,
And you
and
don't
it's
really do it
like,
to everyone. You're like, all
didn't.
right, see you guys later. Bye, Nick.
Yeah, you just make it kind of
Yeah.
obvious.
Wow, that's
like,
way too
I'm
obvious
saying
for
bye
me.
to you.
The
My
way
wig
that you
would
were saying
fly.
it though is like, oh, bye, Nick. But then I was imagining Lauren walking out of a group of people going, bye, Sheldon. Like, what do you
Well,
mean?
I'm not
not
screaming
Lauren.
it,
But you're like yelling it over your shoulder.
kind of, yeah.
That is so
I'm
bold.
just like, bye. Like, I mean, I don't say anything that loud, but like, it's obvious. Like, everyone
I
is
could
like,
never do
oh,
that.
special.
she
Nope.
just said bye to
You
you. She
matter.
didn't do
See,
that
to
to
me,
me.
that is really bold. I'm like,
Yeah, but it's also
That's
the
a classic.
like, I mean, all you said was bye, technically. You didn't really say anything else. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you
That's a
singled them out.
classic.
And you don't even have to like.
One time, I told a guy that I had a crush on that I think he actually had a girlfriend, but I didn't know that. So no harm, no foul. No, I didn't know that. I
Didn't
stopped
know.
talking to him as soon as I found out. But I just told him that his eyes looked like glaciers.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Or were you just?
And did it not work because he had a crush?
He said, "Wow, thank you."
Oh my god.
But he had a girlfriend, so that was really weird.
Well,
My
okay,
face just turned red.
That's something I would say for people who literally have no idea how to even show interest.
Yes.
It's as simple as a compliment about something that's like looks related or like, oh, like
Yeah.
I like you as more than a friend kind of thing. Like
Well,
talking about their
yeah.
eyes or
And
like
psychologically,
oh, your
like-
outfit or like something
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
a cool outfit. You don't have to be like, that's the cutest I've ever seen, but you can be like, that's a cool outfit. You can
Like,
say
oh,
that.
you
Yeah,
look nice.
some in the birth order psychology spectrum tend to theorize that people that only have the same gender sibling as them, so like this boy only had brothers, and a lot of times they can be a little more clueless. So it almost feels like it's a pass that you can be a little bit more obvious.
They don't get it.
Because
They
they're
don't
like,
get it.
oh, unless you like literally put it on a billboard, like, oh.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you're hinting around and they're just not getting it, so you have to say something like,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
hello.
The other day, Chad was trying to explain that he was like, well, so he was saying, I don't know if I fully understand what you're saying right now, because he's like, I mean, I didn't grow up with 6 sisters. And I was like, yeah, you didn't.
Gotta love it. I think one of see that it's hard to think. Because,
Amy and I
like,
don't have much to offer to
Yes,
Well, here's how Amy works.
work.
No, someone sends her a red heart and she says, what does that mean?
Wait, to them?
yes.
I mean, that is called holding a piece of cake and saying, what is this? You know what it is.
it did not work
Guys,
out
one
with
step
him.
at a time, okay?
Okay, but like no. Lauren had to explain to me how to do it. But that did not work with that guy for a good reason. One thing that I have done is a classic hinting of like, oh, you like this thing? Oh, we should like go
that
do that.
together.
Like, oh, you like tacos? I know this great taco place. We should go.
Oh,
One
yeah,
time
that's
I
good.
told a
Nice.
guy about a taco place.
No.
And I was like, we should go get tacos. And he told his parents. And they went. But we never went. So.
Well, Amy, I don't know if I'll go into the category of things that worked. If his parents
No,
went
it's
without
worked
you.
in.
I think it would work.
It's worked in different situations.
Oh, okay, good. Well, there you go.
Turn that alarm off.
He was just Mr. Clueless. He was woo.
No, he was just like, yeah.
Or
Okay,
he just didn't
I
wanna
think
hang out.
He didn't want to hang out, I guess.
I think some good categories that I'll mention are, and if you guys think of any, feel free to mention them, are like initially talking for the first time, like sparking the first conversation. Number 1. Number 2 is like them giving you their number if you had anything to do with that, or if you gave them your number, whatever. And then the initial hangout. Okay, so I'll say for Nick, since that obviously worked really well, I was thinking about this, and I definitely have some more wild and wacky things from my past. I feel like I've done a lot. Not too aggressive, but they've been,
Pretty straightforward.
an interesting mix of straightforward and subtle at the same time. Okay, but not don't know about those guys, so just gonna say what works with Nick. Okay, so the beginning, I knew his sister. So it was on a Facebook status. He and his sister were talking about It was like the best thing about siblings, the music videos. Okay, obviously you think I'm not going to comment that. I'm obviously going to comment on that. Okay? Okay? So he and his sister were like not arguing, like roasting each other back and forth, which was really funny. So all I did was just reply, ha 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 ha. Okay?
Girl.
That's all I did. I was laughed at them roasting each other as a public status. Okay? Not that crazy, but I was just hoping that somehow he would like notice me from that. I don't know why.
I think he would
thought
notice
that.
you inserting yourself into a family.
Well, there was
conversation.
other people on there. It was a status. You just post the status and then random people comment. It wasn't like on his wall or something. I wasn't friends with him. Okay. So I was just like, ha 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 or something funny, you know? And then he responded, Christina, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, he has 4 sisters. He's like, our band could give your sibling band like a run for their money, somewhere like that.
my
So he was like roasting us or whatever. It was funny. Okay. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's talking to me. So then I made a move kind of. You'll see, I have like a give and take. Okay. So then I messaged him and said, so you're Kelly's brother. That's all I said.
good
You're
one.
Kelly's brother. That's all.
She knew Kelly.
And then, yeah, because I knew his sister. And then we just started talking. And then when it came to the number, I wanted to know if he would give me his number, like if he was interested. I was trying to figure out, he is kind of similar to Cass, so he was kind of acting like he was faxing me. It was a little confusing. I was a little confused. I couldn't exactly tell what was going on. So I was like, does he want... Like, is he flirt? I couldn't tell if he was flirting. I was really confused. Normally, I can tell really well in person, but it's a little hard to tell not in person. So I couldn't tell. So I was like, well, I don't remember what day this was. Well, gotta get off Facebook. Wish we could keep talking, but gotta go.
Now that.
Okay, that's so easy. Very easy. So if you want to give the person your number at that point.
Nowadays, though,
on your phone. They're like, sorry, gotta
I
turn
know,
my
you
phone
can't do
off.
that anymore.
Wish there was a way I could turn it back on.
Think of the equivalent. Think of the equivalent for your situation, which I don't know what it is. I don't want to think that hard right now. But my point is, that was so obvious that if he didn't give his number, he's either wildly, wildly shy and like really scared, which I have seen that happen before. It's pretty rare, but I do know someone who's actually, I think she's engaged to the guy who was acting like that in the beginning. Okay, or he does not want to give you his number. Okay, he doesn't really want to.
And he doesn't have to give you his number.
And I wanted, yeah, he doesn't have to. And I wanted to leave the door open and see, is he coming in or not? And then he gave me his number. Okay. But then as soon as he gave his number, I was like, oh, what if I didn't want your number? You know, just gotta keep on his toes. He's like, what? And it was funny though.
It's funny. It's not like she's like, block me, goodbye. Like she just said, like, what if I didn't want
I
it?
didn't want it. But then I
It's a
texted
joke,
him.
obviously.
Take a
Things
joke.
I will never understand.
And then the last one was hanging out. I hinted again. This is like a really, tell me how hinty you think this is. It depends on your personality. It was Christmas Eve and we hadn't said anything about hanging out yet, but he was like, oh yeah, I'm driving around with my friend right now. And I was like, oh, I'm out and about too right now. I think it's pretty subtle depending on who you are. You guys tell me, each person vote. I said, oh, I'm out and about too right now. Just dropping presents off, driving around. How subtle? I think it's pretty.
That's
subtle.
very subtle.
That's pretty.
Does anyone find that
That's like,
not
I
subtle?
would do that, so that's
I could
gotta be
see
subtle.
it.
I would do
Yeah, because it's not that obvious. Like,
it's not
we
like
should
you're
meet up.
saying let's hang out, but if you read into it, you're like, oh, she's
Yeah.
out and about too.
I might have said
Maybe
more
we
than that.
can
But
hang out.
I think that's all I said. And then he ended up being like, oh, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, oh yeah, we should meet up.
Wait, he said this.
I don't remember what he said.
So this is what worked. He said this, that, and the other thing. Okay, so everyone take notes.
Well, here's the thing, guys. When I'm telling you that Nick was taking a while to be like flirtatious, where I could tell, is the first like compliment he gave me was, you have really cool eyes. And I learned later in life that all the guys who told me I had cool eyes meant pretty, but they didn't want to say it in the beginning.
He's
And they
like,
would
bro,
say it. They would
got
say
really
it later.
Yes,
They're like,
they
yeah,
always say
I
to
meant
me
that.
like, oh, it's a cool outfit. I'm like, cool.
See, I would reply now and say, thanks, you have a cool face.
But guys, I want to say
You have a cool soul.
Wait, guys, I feel like I need to make it really clear. Not everyone who calls something cool to you is trying to flirt with you. I'm just telling you this happened to me. When they go out of their way to like say something about your
Cool
eyes.
eyes.
You say, why are you staring at my hat?
Who's not flirting with you, commenting in your eyes?
Yeah,
Unless you have
true.
like a naturally
Oh, guys,
purple
we just
eye.
own flirting.
Yeah,
I
but if
gotta
they say your shoes are cool, they might not be flirting.
That's not
Yeah.
really. It's
I just want to make that clear.
It can
I
be
just want to make it
category
clear.
specific.
Okay, so that gives you an example. I was like, I wasn't like, ah, and I wasn't like,
That's a lot of
make sense?
examples of opening doors.
yeah, I was like, is he going to walk through?
Yeah,
Don't know.
he did. In case you're wondering.
And we got married. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. He did.
Now they have a child.
And now, yeah. and now we have a child.
And hopefully we don't lose an
Well,
aunt.
we have a child in heaven and a child in
We
my.
don't lose an aunt. Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Because I choked.
Hopefully we don't lose an aunt.
Hopefully
That child doesn't lose an aunt. Amy's
You know
not
what
our
I mean? I
aunt.
mean our family doesn't lose
Guys,
Aunt Amy.
Yeah.
Kath, still.
I choke
I
every
was trying to
day.
make a joke. Stop taking it so personally.
Personally, literally.
Oh my
Well,
gosh. Okay.
to summarize that, you got to be yourself. You got to find what works for you and avoid those extremes. And, just
Have
go
some
easy
fun.
on yourself. Have some fun. Put yourself out there, but not in a disrespectful way.
And lastly, remember, if someone rejects you, it's just a sign of the match, not a sign of you.
Yes.
Keep
Oh
on
wait, I
trucking.
thought of a clever quip for that. It doesn't wait. It doesn't mean that you're not a catch. It just means that you're not a match.
I love it. I
Lauren
love
has to come up with the
Wow,
great quote
Lauren
at the
is
end of
very quotable.
every topic of conversation. This happened in the last episode. If you're on Patreon, you saw that. SMH, Lauren. Okay, whatever.
SMH?
That's all I say. Every comment I ever leave on anything Lauren ever does says SMH, basically. Everything.
So weird.
You guys know. You know, okay? If you follow the bullying thread, you know.
That is
You
weird.
guys don't know. Okay?
All right.
Anyway, if you know what the
that.
bullying thread is,
One time I tried to find.
you tried to find the thread? Guys, someone send it to Amy.
Twitter.
She tried to find the bullying
Amy,
thread.
why don't you just ask them
It was so
to tell you?
weird.
Okay.
It's getting to that time of the day.
I don't remember, but just that was my search for a really long time.
Okay. It's really interesting. Okay, so we're going to move on to one of our new segments. All right, this is our only new
I'm
segment,
trying to
isn't it?
distract you with this
This
bag.
is called
The
Bag of
person.
Random.
The shower cap of random. We're going to move forward.
Bonnet.
The
It does
bonnet.
look like a bonnet.
The bonnet
bonnet
of
of
terror.
random. What?
The bonnet of terror.
Oh my
Today's segment is friend or foe, a quick poll where we ask if this person is a friend or foe. So here's the question. Someone points out you have salad in your teeth. Are they a friend or foe?
Duh. Friend.
I feel like
Duh.
okay, all right. There's only I can imagine someone being a foe if they're like, "Hey, Catherine, you have salad in your teeth."
Yeah.
But
Then
who
they're a
does that?
foe.
Who does that?
That's like in like a
not
middle
unheard of.
school sitcom.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brenda, you got.
Look, in that case,
Hey,
I'd say
Brenda.
foe. But if someone quietly points it out, I'd
Yes.
say friend.
How-
That
Thank
is a true
you.
friend. If they don't point it out, they are a foe. Let's just be
True.
real. You
Yeah.
can't
No,
trust
no,
someone
listen.
who won't tell you.
Unless, like, for me, sometimes I know, like, for instance, my fiance will get embarrassed sometimes in public. Like, he would rather know, but sometimes he'll be like, he doesn't want to be, like, singled out. So you got to do it the right way. So maybe I waited to tell him until we were alone. You know
It's
what I mean?
already embarrassing.
Well, you just
though.
go, you're like,
No, I go.
Yeah.
Why do that?
that is way too much. You go like this.
No,
just like,
you turn your body away from the rest of the people. And you go,
Okay.
No, you are still doing it too much.
No,
Here's
no, you can't even see me. I'm over here. You're the crowd.
Cam's like,
Why? Look, it doesn't have to be embarrassing. People get stuff stuck in their teeth.
I don't
As a
think it's
society,
I
we need to
do all the time.
destigmatize it.
yeah, because
okay?
you know what that means? It means you were eating a salad. What's wrong with that? That's healthy.
It's just, guys, it's just so funny when someone gets like a pretty decent sized piece, like right on the front.
That happens to our dad a
it's
lot.
so
It happens
I
to me
always
a lot.
tell
funny.
them. You have to tell them.
I can't.
you
Do you know
gotta.
who tells the most out of all of us?
Catherine? Lauren.
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 Always tells you.
I feel like I always tell our mom.
I just think that people want to know.
They do.
You know who's blind?
I want to know.
Who's blind is my husband. Blind as a bat. I could have anything in my teeth, and I'm like,
Your teeth would probably all fall out. He'd be like, beautiful smile.
Yeah, because he's staring at your cool eyes.
yeah.
Couldn't see your
He'll
teeth.
never tell me. I'm like, is there something? And he's like, no. And then I look later, I'm like, why didn't you tell me?
Wow.
He can't tell. I don't know why. It's
Dang.
really
He's not looking
irritating.
at your teeth.
It's nice, and it's also really irritating at the same time.
Well, it sounds like we
get
all
it.
kind of
Do
agree
you
that it's
tell?
a friend.
Do you tell people?
Yes.
It depends, guys. Sometimes I don't have it in me.
Sometimes I don't have it in me either. And you would probably assume,
jerks.
if you're going to try to guess who I am, guys, you probably guess that I always tell. No, you're wrong. I sometimes.
Because you have too much compassion.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
like,
sometimes I'm
"Oh,
not
I don't
moved to
wanna-"
care.
I'm like, I want to embarrass them.
But who cares? You get embarrassed.
I'm
Something
like-
stuck in your teeth. It's not a big deal.
I don't
like,
want to embarrass
That
them.
is not my child. It's not my child.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes it is.
I
but
can
sometimes it's
feel
not.
the embarrassment, which is just too much feeling, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to feel this right now. I can't do it.
I can't
It's
hear
not
Listen,
good.
H.
Do you?
Step up.
Think
Be
you tell
brave.
people?
Yes, I tell people.
Yeah, Kathy.
Oh yeah, Kat's like, hey, you got something? You got something? Yeah,
No,
she
I
does.
don't try to be obvious, but I'm like,
There's nothing wrong with
Kath,
it.
those are the least subtle. Try a
What am I
one
supposed
subtle
to do?
face.
Go.
Show me a subtle. What is every time she does it, she has to go like. Can't you
go.
do one subtle face? Kath, just don't move your face and you just
maybe I should make up a code word or something.
Yes.
Guys,
Chicken
we're really
wing,
falling apart.
Wait,
now.
guys,
pull it together.
show how you would do it subtly. Just do your gesture.
No,
Okay, Amy, let me see it.
I wouldn't gesture. I would say, hey, Lauren, you have something in your teeth.
Okay,
Yeah,
your gesture.
I just
I've seen
go
yours.
to be like, oh, you have something.
She's very
I
subtle.
just like lean over and whisper.
I already showed you mine, and we already saw yours. We already know.
I'm not trying to be obvious. I'm just trying to get
So
the job done.
I always ask Lauren, I'm like, hey, am I good? Oh, I always do like,
Yeah, she just smiles at me like that. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, she
I do this
look at her
weird
teeth.
smile because it's when you know. Just check.
do
That's exactly what I do.
As if Lauren's a mirror. Mirror for
Yes,
hire.
Lauren is my mirror. Okay. We're moving
What
on
is
to
happening?
our last.
Great. This is fun.
Listen, it's basically like everyone has like a pole inside of their body holding them up, and then all the poles went, and now everyone's like,
It's getting
like
late.
we lost our spines.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, moving on to Sister Spotlight, our very last
All right.
segment. We have Lauren's Take It Real with Christina, Sappy Thoughts with Kath, Amy's Current Crisis, and Exposing Lisa's Weird Past. And this week, the sister is ding, Lauren's Take.
Now we cheer.
All right. So this is the segment where we ask Lauren, the Oracle, all of our burning questions.
Oh my god.
Where do we get
What?
them?
We don't
From
ask.
Patreon.
You
So,
guys ask.
This is from our patron, Lamar. What type of Crocs do you like?
I know the word.
What type do I like? I don't know what this question. Actually, okay, I know there's a lot of different styles, but I just like the classic.
I knew you were going to say
That's
color?
about it. Well, I have white and I have bright blue. I probably wouldn't go for a dark colored Croc personally. I'm more of like summer vibes, summer colors.
And this, I gotta get some Crocs.
Interesting.
You
Yeah,
do.
I feel like
They're so
they
good
are
to
so
walk
comfy.
on.
What
do they feel
They
like?
help your feet.
They feel amazing.
All right. Anyway,
You don't want
Lauren's
to take them
take.
off.
Okay. From Holly. A genie grants you 3 wishes. What would they be?
Nothing. I don't
She
like
is
stuff
such a
like
rat.
that. I just like life just is how it is, and like if something's gonna happen, then it will happen, and I don't need to like do some extra thing of like wishing for it.
What? A swimming
So,
pool full
I'm
of
sorry.
chocolate?
I don't need that. If I'm in a swimming pool, I want to just have like gotten it myself. I don't want a genie to give it
Lauren
to
doesn't
me.
know genie to do that for her.
I like it. I
Yes.
just want to earn my life.
Okay. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why? From Rachel.
Oprah Winfrey.
Hmm.
She is my
Ooh.
That would be
queen.
lit.
I don't even know if I'd be able to though, because I'd be like, how do I speak to?
Greatness.
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like it would change my life.
That would
All
be
right.
Awesome.
What do most people think about you that's not true? From Tammy.
Ooh.
What do most people think about me that's not true? I think a big thing is that I hate them when I don't.
Oh, that's
I don't know. It hasn't happened as much recently because I realized that I was coming off like I hated people. So I try to not come off that way anymore. But just many, many, many times in my life, someone that I genuinely liked or just was neutral on, didn't have a problem with, it would be like, I thought you hated me for a really long time. And I was like, I didn't mean to do that.
Most of my friends have said that about
Well,
Lauren,
it was really
including
just
Nick.
because it was a combo of me being really shy and also just being like insecure, where I was like, oh, I don't want to like be weird, so I just would avoid people.
Makes sense.
All right, last question is from Nitsan, and they said, do you think that aliens exist?
Yes. I don't think anyone can really say like there are no aliens. Were you there? Did you go? No, you
Did you
didn't.
go?
You couldn't. You can't. So I think that in such a huge universe, I would not be surprised if there were other life forms.
Neither. All right, there
That's
you
it
have
for
it.
Lauren's take.
Thank you, Patreon, for participating in Lauren's take. And if you want to be a part of
Appreciate
that, you just have to join our Patreon and notice when the post goes up that's like, send your questions for Lauren's take, and then
And give us a good one.
questions.
You know?
Yeah, don't give me those 3 wishes questions. Come on.
Oh!
No offense. I don't
right.
answer that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And the next episode is Patreon only. So we'll see you, Patreon, in the next episode, and YouTube the next episode. Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon, because that funds the entire podcast. Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you guys. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. You've been listening to the Cimorelli podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.